This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Welcome to The Good Ride, where I've been avoiding reality full-time for almost 11 years now and part-time since 2006. This is the Burton 3D Daily Driver. It's a board I got on a little bit for the demos, and I just said what the hell and bought it in the hopes that this would continue on through their line the following year, and it did. So I spent a lot of time on this with a lot of different boots and bindings, but mainly rode it with the Kendo and the Atlas, and got it in all kinds of conditions. Everything from pretty decent groomers with some hard patches to a decent amount of powder, maybe like knee-high in some places. Really fun, and really got to put this board through its paces. And not only did I get to do that, but I got to ride a production model versus the softer demo that I tried. So I would say disregard the demo review because that board was heavily used when we got on it and it had a much softer flex. So to give you a short summary, this is a unique camber profile. It's kind of has that traditional directional camber like the Hometown Hero, but then it's lifted throughout the nose and tail, and it does kind of come down just a touch into the effective edge it felt like when I was on snow. It's a fun, poppy, energetic board, and it has a lot of personality similar to the Hometown Hero that you see on the other side of it. Not so much the skeleton key that's in the middle, but I just put it there because it looks pretty. And it just has this kind of Hometown Hero personality with that 3D profile, a little softer, a little more playful, but still kind of in that medium-ish realm to medium stiff. And it has this kind of interesting role in powder and softer snow that is really fun, and it's really unique. I think I lean a little bit more towards the Hometown Hero more, but this is a very good board for somebody who wants kind of more of an all mountain size, but in a tapered directional setback shape. Now, when it comes to shape, there's about 10 mil of taper, but it doesn't really feel like that. It has this kind of side cut that almost makes it feel like a double ender. Yeah, it feels more tapered than, let's say, something like the Burton Custom, which is kind of like one of their iconic all mountain boards. This is definitely a little more tapered in feel, but a lot less than you would think for 10 mil of taper, and I think it's because of that balanced free ride geometry side cut kind of thing. It is noticeable. It's one of those specs that you look at and you're like, yeah, whatever, and then you ride it and you go, oh wow, yeah, okay, this really works. I like that, and I think it gives this board a more double ender feel. And with the camber profile being directional camber, you would think it's more like the Hometown Hero, more of an advanced to experts only kind of board, but something about this lifted tech coming down to about right here definitely makes it feel a little more forgiving, a little less locked in, but still very stable for one footing and flat basing, and just kind of has this almost like intermediate-ish personality when it comes to skidding turns. It still really is going to shine for an advanced expert rider, but a committed intermediate might be able to pull this off, where normally I would not suggest that. I'm a little on the conservative side after learning on camber myself and taking some hard knocks. When it comes to flex, if you flex it this way, you can see it's got some give to it. And I've probably only ridden this about like 6 days. And you can see like if you get to about 20, it's gonna soften up. The nose has a little bit more give, and the tail is a little stiffer. Now the 3D Daily Driver does a good job buttering for its flex. The demo model I tried was just super easy to butter. Maybe after this breaks in, it's gonna butter a little easier, but out of the box, this was not an easy board to butter, but it's doable. And I was having fun doing that, especially buttering on the nose. It's much easier than buttering the tail. But what was interesting is that 3D technology with some boards can make it feel weird when you lean back to butter unless you're perfectly flat on the back. The nose and tail can kind of slide out. You can hit that lifted part and then it just kind of slides out and it's very hard to butter. This was not that hard to do so. So I like how they lifted the sides here. It didn't really mess with that. And when it comes to just ollie power and good pop, good spring when you put something into it, it's pretty easy to access, and I really liked going off little kickers and trying to ollie here and there with this. I thought it did a really good job and it's got really good spring. I think I liked the Hometown Hero a little bit more for that, but they're very close. When it comes to speed, this has pretty good base glide to amazing base glide. I had some problems with this when I got it out of the box. The first day I just took it and rode it. I didn't wax it. Then I had a powder day, and the next time I came out, it actually felt slower after I waxed it. Then I gave it another, I scraped off that Burton wax, put on another layer of wax from Burton again, and it just worked a little better. I don't know what was going on there, but maybe it needed to be waxed a few times. With my Hometown Hero here, it needed a little bit of a base grind to get this thing to really shine too. But once I got those going, they really had good base glide. Now when it comes to just pointing it and being damp, it's pretty damp, but it's no flight attendant, it's no deep thinker, it's not in that realm. It's definitely a less damp ride. But when it comes to uneven terrain and just turning it and riding all day in uneven conditions, that all-day resort ride, it's less fatiguing. And like, for example, the deep thinker can just be downright cranky in certain conditions, where this just never really changes its personality in terms of chatter. It never just passes anything up to you. Sometimes it says slow down or don't power over that chunder super fast, but it does a really good job. It's a pretty damp, pretty shock absorbent board. Now when it comes to edge hold, I felt, yeah, there's a little less grip than the Hometown Hero, which I compared on the same day many times. They just seem so similar that I was a little bummed about that, because Burton doesn't really have the strongest grip to start with, but it just does have this kind of unique feel. And if you want something that doesn't grab at all and has a really unique turn in soft to powdery snow, this could work for you. Turn initiation for a 55 wasn't super fast, but very easy and kind of medium to medium fast. And when you got the side cut engaged, it was very different than the Hometown Hero in terms of the turning experience. You definitely start to feel that 3D the more you commit to a harder carve. But I liked that this could make kind of like moderately good, long drawn out S-turns. Then I liked that you could take it a little wider, and then I liked that you could kind of circle carve, but you have to be mindful of those the far edges where that 3D technology kind of is. It felt a little washier, a little different in softer snow, and I think the overall turning experience was more fun for me with the Hometown Hero, but to each his own. I would say that it has very good spring out of the turn and very good drive, and it's a very fun, unique turning experience. Now when it comes to powder, I was really surprised I took this and the Hometown Hero out, and what I really liked about the Hometown Hero was it's got a little more setback on board, a little more directional float. But what I really loved about the 3D Daily Driver was that lifted nose, and their 3D tech in the nose really helped the board just roll, and just the turning experience in powder was more fun than the Hometown Hero. So while the Hometown Hero excelled in groomers, this was more of a fun turning experience in powder. So while it didn't quite have the float, it was a little more work off the back foot than the Hometown Hero, I really enjoyed the turning experience in powder. It was just very unique, and I just love boards with those lifted sides and the nose in powder. Now when it comes to switch riding, this does a pretty good job for tapered directional. Again, I think that side cut, that balanced free ride geometry side cut kind of thing does a good job at making this ride switch better than it should for this kind of taper and this kind of directional shape. And it was very doable. I found myself doing it a lot. I think this is fine for tracking into a kicker, although I did like the feel a little better with the Hometown Hero, but still very fun, very doable. I had a pipe run or two with this and it wasn't amazing. I actually like the Hometown Hero a little better, but it's very doable in a soft pipe. And overall, I think the 3D Daily Driver is a really fun board, and it has a lot of unique properties that the Hometown Hero doesn't. I think if I were to have to choose one board, I'd probably choose the Hometown Hero because I'm more of a carvy, turny kind of guy. But I am gonna miss that 3D experience in powder and this overall playful feel. It's a very fun board, and it's a very unique board. So I think for the right rider, this could be the choice over the Hometown Hero. All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight. We're free to say whatever we want.